Hey guys, Devil Slayer here. Don't forget to comment, like, rate, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like. It really helps the channel out. And if not, just please leave a like. As always, Devil Slayer Productions makes the best videos.
Of God's will.
Paris by night, but not the way I'd imagined. My lecture at the American University had been followed by an unexpected invitation to a crime scene.
Mr. Langdon, thank you for coming. I am Captain Fache. You know this man?
Chateau, the curator of the Louvre. I was supposed to meet him tonight after my speech.
Follow me. It seems Monsieur Saunier put up quite a fight. So nearly got away.
You should not have run, Monsieur Saunier. Now, tell me where it is.
Please, I beg you.
Where is it?
All right, I will tell you.
The bars were no defense.
I believe you. The others told me the same.
You saw the photograph, so this should be of no surprise. Feel free to examine the body, Mr. Langdon.
It's a pentacle, one of the oldest symbols on Earth, used over 4,000 years before Christ.
Devil worship.
No, the pentacle is a pre-Christian symbol that relates to nature worship. The ancients envisioned their world in two halves, masculine and feminine. This pentacle is representative of the female half of all things, a concept religious historians call the sacred feminine, or divine goddess. Saunier of all people would know this.
Saunier drew a goddess symbol on his stomach? Interesting.
He stripped himself naked, folded his clothes, and put them away from himself?
Pardon?
It's rather meticulous for a dying man. I think he was trying to show us that everything he did had a purpose. Even his nudity may have meaning. The position of his feet reinforces the reference to the pinnacle and the sacred feminine.
I beg your pardon?
Replication. Repeating a symbol is the simplest way to strengthen its meaning. Jacques Saunier positioned himself in the shape of a 5-pointed star.
Interesting analysis. What do you think about the use of his own blood as ink?
Obviously, he had nothing else to write with.
Actually, I believe he used blood such that the police would follow certain forensic procedures.
I'm sorry?
Look at his left hand.
He's clutching a large felt-tip marker. It smells like alcohol.
Saunier was holding it when we found him. As I told you, we have touched nothing. Are you familiar with this kind of light? As you may know, police use blacklight illumination to search crime scenes for blood and other forensic evidence. So you can imagine our surprise.
What the hell does this mean?
That, monsieur, is precisely the question you are here to answer.
Part of it looks like a numeric cipher.
Yes, our cryptographers are already working on it. We believe these numbers may be the key to who killed him. But the text appears to be an accusation of some sort. Wouldn't you agree?
An accusation against his murder makes sense, I suppose.
Saunier was a Frenchman. He lived in Paris. And yet he chose to write this message...
In English?
Précisément, Monsieur Langdon. I have seen a lot of death in my work, and let me tell you something. When a man is murdered by another man, I do not believe his final thoughts are to write an obscure, spiritual statement that no one will understand. I believe he is thinking of one thing only. La vengeance. I believe Saunier wrote this note to tell us who killed him.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. You told me Saunier was attacked by someone he had apparently invited in. Considering the circumstances, I would assume that if Saunier wanted to tell you who killed him, he would have written down somebody's name.
Précisément, précisément.
Capitaine.
One moment, please. Oui?
Capitaine, un agent du département de cryptographie est arrivé.
Unacceptable. I made it very clear.
Captain, please excuse the interruption, but
Ce n'est pas le moment.
I have deciphered the numeric code. But before I explain, I have an urgent message for Mr. Langdon.
For Mr. Langdon?
The US Embassy asked that you phone in as soon as possible. While I explain the code to Captain Fache, you need to make this call.
Thank you. Where can I find a phone?
This line is secure. You may use it.
Bonjour, vous êtes bien chez Sophie Navoo. Je suis absent pour le moment, mais...
I'm sorry, Miss Navoo. I think you may have given me the wrong...
No, that is the right number. It's the 3-digit code on the paper I gave you.
But...
The embassy has an automated message system. You have to dial an access code to pick up your messages. The numbers that Saunier wrote were une plaisanterie numérique.
Your professional assessment of Saunier's code is that it is some kind of numeric prank?
This code is simplistic to the point of absurdity. Jacques Saunier must have known we would see through it immediately.
So, you mean to tell me that in his final hours of life, he wrote a cryptologist's joke? I certainly hope you have a much more satisfying explanation than that. I don't know where the hell you are going with this, Miss Navoo, but I suggest that you get there fast.
Cap...
Monsieur Langdon, do not react to this message. Just listen calmly. You are in danger right now. Follow my directions very closely. Tell Fache the phone message is regarding an injured friend back home. Then ask to use the restroom at the end of the Grand Gallery.
Captain, considering what you have at stake here tonight, I thought you might appreciate knowing that Jacques Saunier might be playing games with you. Apparently not. I will inform the Director of Cryptography you no longer need our services.
Is everything all right?
An accident. A friend. I'll need to fly home first thing in the morning.
Would you like to sit down?
Actually, I think I'd like to use the restroom.
The restrooms are at the end of the Grand Gallery. Shall I accompany you?
Not necessary. I think I'd like a few minutes alone.
I must return to Monsieur Saunier's office for a moment. Please come find me directly when you are finished in La Toilette. There is more we need to discuss.
Thank God you came. We don't have much time. I wanted to warn you, Monsieur Langdon, you are sous surveillance cachée, under a guarded observation.
But why?
Because Fache's primary suspect in this murder is you. Look in your jacket pocket. You will find proof they are tracking you. Just look.
What is this?
It's a GPS tracking dot. It continuously transmits its location to a global positioning system satellite that the DCPJ can monitor. We use them to monitor people's locations. It's accurate within 2 feet anywhere on the globe. They have you on an electronic leash in case you decide to run. In fact, they hope you do run, because it would make their case much stronger.
Why would I run? I'm innocent.
Do you recall the 3 lines of text that Saunier wrote on the floor? What you saw was not the entire message. This is a photo of the complete message.
Why would Saunier write this? Was he trying to frame me?
No. He wrote it for me. The numbered code is meaningless. Saunier wrote it to make sure the investigation included cryptographers, ensuring that I would know as soon as possible what had happened to him.
Why you specifically? How do you know it wasn't for some other cryptographer?
PS is the nickname he called me when I lived with him. It stood for Princess Sophie. We had a falling out 10 years ago. Jacques Saunier, he was my grandfather.
Where's Langdon?
Still in the men's room, sir. We are seeing small movements, so the GPS dot is obviously still on him. Perhaps he feels ill. If he had found the dot, he would have removed it and tried to run.
Fine.
What should I do?
Fache will be taking you into custody any minute. I can get you out of here, but we need to act now.
You want me to run?
It's the smartest thing you could do. If you stay, you will spend weeks in a French jail. But if you get to your embassy, then your government can protect you while I prove you had nothing to do with this murder.
Forget it. You need to tell Fache that the message on the floor was for you, and that my name is not there as an accusation.
Fache is convinced you are guilty. The only way to get you out is with a distraction.
The GPS tracking dot?
We need them to think you are running. If we can throw it out the window onto one of the cars going by, I bet a lot of the police would clear out. But the tracking dot does not weigh much more than a gram. See if you can find something to attach it to that would make it heavier. That will work. Come, help me open this window.
Alarme! Grande Galerie! Toilette, messieurs!
Where's Langdon?
Still in the men's room. He must have broken the window. I knew it! He is trying to escape.
Quick, Robert! Help me get this window open. Hurry, Robert! Good. Now put the GPS tracking dot inside this soap and throw it out the window.
Sir?
He jumped! I'm showing the signal out on Place du Carousel, outside the bathroom window, and it is not moving at all. Mon Dieu! I think Langdon has just committed suicide.
Here's someone coming. Quick, Robert! Hide!
Wait! No, he is moving! Oh my God! He is alive! Langdon is moving. He must be in a car. I think he is in a car. I can't... He is moving south, faster, crossing the Seine on Pont du Carousel.
Bring my car round. I want to be there when we make the arrest.
O draconian devil. O lame saint. The scrambled Fibonacci sequence is a clue. The numbers are a hint as to how to decipher the rest of the message. He wrote the sequence out of order to tell us to apply the same concept to the text. O draconian devil, O lame saint. Those lines mean nothing. They are simply letters written out of order.
You think this message is an anagram? Like a word jumbled from a newspaper?
Your grandfather's meaning was right in front of us all along, and he left us more than enough clues to see it. Let me see that photo. The Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci. I can't imagine how your grandfather created such intricate anagrams in the minutes before he died.
My grandfather probably created these anagrams long ago. What is important is that he wanted me to see something at the painting.
You're going to the Mona Lisa? Now?
I am not the murder suspect. I'll take my chances. I need to understand what my grandfather was trying to tell me.
What about the embassy?
The signs will lead you to a security turnstile. Mine is the car in the employee lot. Do you know how to get to the embassy? Whatever my grandfather was trying to tell me, I don't think he wanted anyone else to find it. As strange as it may sound, I think he wants me to get to the Mona Lisa before anyone else does.
I'll come.
No. We don't know how long the Grand Gallery will stay empty. You have to go now. I will see you at the embassy, Monsieur Langdon. Oh, grand-père, why did you do this to yourself? What was so important that you needed me to see? You always did like to play word games with me when I was little. If the officer sees me, he will not let me pass. I must sneak by him.
I don't know. It's so hard to tell because I can...
I should be out of the street.
What do you mean?
Well, they get so wrapped up in their theories that if anyone tries to counter them, they see red.
So you think Langdon killed Jackson here over an academic disagreement?
It doesn't seem unreasonable. Throughout history, men have killed in the name of theories and theologies.
You think one person killing another over something that isn't necessarily true is reasonable?
Well, certainly excessive, but some have based their entire lives on a single belief. To have it broken down on costume could infuriate them to the point of murder.
Well, I would disagree with your theory, but I know you are armed, so I will keep my opinion to myself.
So far, so good. This could be useful to knock someone out.
Well, that test tube is garbage now.
Judge this!
Guess I will use this one.
There you are.
Robert, I told you to get out of here. If Fache...
Where were you?
I had to get the black light. If my grandfather left me a message... I thought I told you to leave.
Why did Seigneur write my name on the floor? P.S. Find Robert Langdon. The letters P.S. may mean Princess Sophie, but do they mean anything else to you? Anything at all?
Yes. I saw the initials P.S. once, when I was very young.
Sophie, this is crucial. Can you tell me if the initials appeared with a symbol? A fleur-de-lis?
How could you possibly know that?
I'm fairly certain your grandfather was a member of a secret society. The fleur-de-lis combined with the initials P.S., that is the Brotherhood's official coat of arms. They call themselves the Priory of Sion. The Priory's membership has included some of history's most cultured individuals. Men like Botticelli, Sir Isaac Newton, Victor Hugo, and more importantly, Leonardo da Vinci. The identities of living Priory members are kept extremely secret, but the P.S. and fleur-de-lis that you saw as a child would make sense if tonight were Priory related.
There is a lot we need to discuss, but I cannot afford to let them capture you, Robert.
Sonier obviously brought us together for a reason. I'm staying until we figure this out.
Fine, then help me. My grandfather wanted us to see this painting for a reason. There must be a message hidden here somewhere.
It smells like alcohol. Where have I smelled that before?
What is this?
They look like random symbols.
Nothing my grandfather ever did was random.
now that you mention it, the arrangement of these symbols seems to indicate word groupings. Bacchus and Uriel? Bacchus is the god of wine, and Uriel is an angel, if I'm not mistaken.
There is a painting of Bacchus in the Grand Gallery, and Uriel is in Da Vinci's Madonna of the Rocks, which should be in there too. Let's go.
Robert Langdon, you are under arrest!
Wait, wait! Robert is innocent. He did not murder Saunière.
Agent Navoo, innocent or not, I have direct orders to arrest Robert Langdon on sight.
I'm sorry, but I can't go to jail until I help Sophie find the real murderer.
You are... working together?
Robert, look out! Well, I don't see anything special.
Everyone seems to be pointing at something, though. Bacchus points to the right, and Uriel points to the left. In between them, we have John the Baptist, and he's pointing up. There's something up there. On the painting, above John the Baptist.
Give me a boost. Maybe I can reach it. It's Compere's ring!
The fleur-de-lis is a symbol of purity, a common reference to the Virgin Mary. But why hide it in the first place? Why not just keep it on?
He was probably worried the police might take it as evidence.
But why?
He wanted us to find it.
Is there an inscription on the ring? A clue?
No, nothing.
Sophie Navoo told him about the GPS dot.
What? Why?
Damn good question. I just heard a recording that confirmed she tipped him off.
But Captain, then where is Langdon now?
Have any fire alarms gone off there?
No, sir.
Okay, Langdon must still be inside the Grand Gallery.
Inside? But what is he doing?
Are you armed?
Yes, sir.
Then go. I can't get back to the perimeter for a few minutes, and I don't want Langdon breaking for an exit. Agent Navoo is probably in there with him. Handle it. I want Langdon and Navoo at gunpoint by the time I get back.
Okay, let's go.
Robert, someone is coming. You must hide. They will see you. This is my grandfather's office. Maybe we can find a clue here.
They are dead. Please pick up. This is Sister Sandrine of Cecil's. They are all dead. The floor has been broken. The other three are dead. Please answer. Where are you?
Your fate was sealed the moment you stood against Manus Dei.
That woman is in trouble. We have to go to Saint-Sulpice and help her.
She knew my grandfather as well, but I don't think he wanted me to go there. None of the clues point to her.
She's in danger, Sophie. Once we find a way out of here, I have to go help her.
Robert, take a look at this. It's research on where all the fleurs-de-lis are in the Louvre.
Interesting. It might be another clue to Saunière's involvement with the Priory of Sion. Or perhaps the Priory's involvement with the Louvre. He circled his office?
No, look closer. It is the room next door, the restoration room. There is a vent up above. If you boost me up to it, maybe I can get to the other side. I think we need to search around some more. Maybe we can find a clue here. The winged victory of Samothrace. That's here in the Louvre.
But why would Saunier want us to go there?
This is Fache. Find Robert Langdon and Agent Sophie Navoo. They are working together and have eluded us for far too long. We have secured the perimeter once more, but I want all units searching the Grand Gallery immediately.
I have never heard Fache so angry before. There will be cops all over the place. We need to stay out of sight.
The winged victory of Samothrace. Often called Nike of Samothrace, since Nike is the Greek goddess of victory. It says here that they discovered it on the island of Samothrace in 1863. But the statue itself dates back to 288 BC, when a Macedonian general Demetrius donated it in celebration of his naval victory at Cyprus. This panel with the fleur-de-lis has a circular hole in the center, almost as though something was removed. That part worked.
I remember this from my childhood when I would stay at my grandfather's chateau. He must want us to go to his home for more clues.
You know, Langdon is probably halfway to America by now.
Fache does not seem to think so.
Bah, Fache. What does he know?
I would not say such things if I were you.
He has
This
no
looks
respect
useful.
for us. Look where we are patrolling, there is nothing here.
Fache would not have us patrol an area for no reason. You just need to keep your eyes open.
The killer is obviously long gone. I should be inspector. I never would have let him get away in the first place.
If you were inspector, half the force would quit from your incessant whining.
Bah!
I will use force if necessary.
For the last time, where is the keystone?
I say again, hitherto shalt thou come, but no farther.
Then pray, sister.
Grandfather wanted us to go to his mansion. All the clues point to there.
I understand. But you heard the message from Sister Sandrine. I have to help her.
Then we will have to split up for now. I'll pick you up a sense of peace. Robert, be careful.
You too. God. What happened here? Well, whatever happened, it seems to have occurred right around midnight. Whoever did this must be incredibly strong, not to mention incredibly angry. Someone's in trouble. Are you all right? Who was that?
So many strange things have happened tonight. I do not know who to trust anymore. So, I must ask you first. Who are you? And why are you here?
My name is Robert, and I'm a friend of Jacques Saunier. Sister Sandrine left a worrisome message on Saunier's answering machine, so I came to see if I could help.
I am afraid that you are too late. Sister Sandrine is dead.
Given the state of things, I imagine she was murdered.
Yes, that furious man with the red eyes and pale skin. He wanted something, but Sister Sandrine could not or would not give it to him. He killed her in a fit of rage and tore the place apart. But he left just as angry, so I do not think he found what he was looking for.
And that monk who attacked you?
They came afterward, and they took some items of value and the candlestick that he used to kill Sister Sandrine. I think they were trying to hide what happened.
Then they would need to silence you as well.
Yes, and now you.
Good point. Did Sister Sandrine mention anything to you about this?
No, but she did do some very strange things earlier this night. She is usually a very open and warm person, but she was acting unusually secretive.
What did you see?
She went to pray at the Stations of the Cross, which is a regular occurrence here, but it was not in the proper order, which is very strange. Then she went down into the crypt, and I have never seen anyone go down there before. Mainly because it is always sealed. I looked around, but I could not find the way to open it.
Did you notice anything else? Anything at all?
Well, I did not think much of it, but she was also carrying around a flask of oil. That is all I can think of.
I see. Thank you, Sister,
Marguerite. Sister Marguerite is my name.
I'm gonna see if I can find out what Sister Sandrine was doing. I may need your help later, Sister Marguerite. Is there a safe place you can hide here?
My room is next door. The lock is sturdy. Knock when you need help, and I will assist if I can. Oh, and if you hear the Latin chants, be wary. The monks are nearby.
It's the monk I knocked unconscious. He's wearing some sort of outfit, but all the cloth is tightly bound. That might be to stop the cloth from rustling when he's moving. There's a note in her hand. 4 phone numbers. And there's a fleur-de-lis symbol on it. Sister Sandrine must have been calling members of the priory of Sion when she was attacked. Ah, I thought so. That's Jacques Saunier's number at the Louvre. More proof that Saunier was a member of the priory. Poor Sister Sandrine. It looks like someone hit her with a heavy object. What kind of monster would do this? And why? It's Robert.
Oh, good. I just remembered that Sister Sandrine was carrying around 2 statues. They might be related to what she was doing tonight.
I'll see if I can figure it out. Thank you. Those creepy monks are everywhere. I need to be careful. This station represents when Jesus was condemned to die by Pilate. Pilate called out, "Behold your king." It still amazes me that people don't know that Jesus was condemned to die because he threatened the power of the Caesar. He was a descendant of Solomon, which meant that he rightfully could have claimed power as king of the Jews. That certainly stirred up the Romans. This depicts Jesus carrying the cross he was to be crucified on. It's made of a sturdy and most likely heavy wood in the shape of a T. This was known as the Tau cross, and much later St. Anthony's cross. The traditional Latin cross that most pictures depict Christ carrying didn't become prevalent until the 3rd century. This station shows when Jesus first fell while being forced to carry the crucifixion cross to Golgotha. Some people don't know that Jesus was actually tortured before his crucifixion as well. They whipped him within an inch of his life using a scourge, or lead-weighted whip. I doubt anyone could stand after that kind of abuse. This station depicts Jesus meeting his mother, Mary, or the Virgin Mary as she is better known, on his way to Golgotha. With the cross being too heavy for Jesus to continue, the Roman centurions picked Simon of Cyrene from the crowd to carry it. He's named in several of the Gospels, so it seems likely to be true, though there's no background history for Simon before or after the events of the crucifixion, other than that he had 2 sons, Alexander and Rufus. This isn't mentioned in the Gospels, but it's from the apocryphal writings. Veronica was someone who said Jesus cured her blood disorder. She came to his trial to claim Jesus was innocent. When Jesus walks by her, she wipes some of the spit and blood from his face, and it said his image was left on the cloth she used, one of the very few acts of kindness he experienced during his crucifixion. Here, Jesus falls again. At this point, he was not carrying the cross anymore as the Roman centurions had given it to Simon of Cyrene, but he had been whipped nearly to death. Here, the women of Jerusalem lament for Jesus. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus makes an odd prophecy where he tells the women not to weep for him, but for themselves and their children. For the days are coming when those who never had kids will think they are blessed. Many tried to attribute this to later plagues, but it seems more likely to me that if I were about to die, my outlook on life would also be pretty bleak. Jesus falls for the third time in this depiction. Once they got to the place of the skull, Golgotha, they stripped Jesus naked, the final humiliation. They even gambled on who would get his undergarment. The actual nailing to the cross takes place at the 11th station. I often wonder when I hear cases of stigmata, why people bleed through their hands. It was scientifically proven that in order to be able to hang from the cross, the nails are put through the wrists between the bones of your forearm. Nails through the hands simply wouldn't hold. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all tell of Jesus' death on the cross. They also agree that Jesus called out, "God, God, why have you forsaken me?" It's obvious to me that someone calling this out is not a god, but it's also irrelevant. Jesus was a good man, and he died because of politics, not because he did anyone harm. They took Jesus' dead body down from the Tau cross and presented it to Mary. Both the Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene were present there, and that's all that we can really know. Scholars to this day still debate who the body was given to. The burial of Jesus is covered in the Gospels, but only Mark and Matthew mention that both Mary, his mother, and Mary Magdalene were there. It's funny how the Bible is written from so many contradicting points of view, yet people still believe it to be true, word for word. There's a chapter marked here. There were 2 eclipses in 1745. One was on October 4th, and the other on April 11th. According to this book, the 11th of April would also have been the night of a full moon, which was said to be when Jesus was resurrected. That's why Easter is celebrated the Sunday closest to the night of a full moon. The crypt here is actually the original church of Saint-Sulpice. When it fell into disuse, it ended up under layers of dirt. They built the new church on top of it. Amazing! The entire list of priory grandmasters up to this very year. And here's Jacques Sonnier. It all makes sense now. He wasn't just a member of the Priory of Sion. He was the Grandmaster, and in his dying moments he had to pass on the secrets of the Priory or lose them forever. Whoever killed Sonnier wanted to know those secrets, and Sonnier sent them here to throw them off. The clues that Sophie are following are taking her right into harm's way. The kind of ingenious zealot that could find and kill the Priory elite will certainly be able to find her as well. The monks must have followed me in here. I should stay out of sight. It's me again. It's Robert.
Oh, thank goodness, I was so worried.
I found out what Sister Sandrine was doing, but it's too dangerous for us to stay here now.
Maybe I should call the police.
You didn't call the police yet? I guess that's good for me.
I was in such a panic. I didn't know what to do.
It's all right. With everything that's happened tonight, I can understand. I need to call my friend first, but then you should call the police. I'll wait with you until they arrive, but then I need to go. What I've discovered here, well, it will mean a lot to her.
Grandpère wanted me to find something very important here, but he also wanted to keep it secret from everyone but me and Robert. I remember an underground grotto hidden in a garden maze from when I was very young. I can only imagine that his secrets would be best guarded down there. Who are you?
Palma existo ut habas.
I gave this key back to Grandpère after the incident. I suppose he knew I would come back someday. I only wish it had been sooner. These must be the dog's food bowls. Ser Piero and Caterina. Those were Da Vinci's parents. I guess if the dogs had a pup, Grandfather would have named it Leonardo. Ser Piero! Caterina! Oh, good dogs. Grandfather trained you well. I need to find a way into the garden. That's where Grandfather would go when he went into the underground grotto. Aeneas, the founder of Roman culture. His story is told in Virgil's book, the Aeneid. Grandpère told me that even though he was the son of Venus, he was not a god himself. Cupid was the god of love, and one of Venus's sons. He is often depicted with a blindfold, which is why people say that love is blind. Nidaba was the Sumerian goddess of learning, writing, and accounting. At the beginning of every new year, she would inscribe the events that took place at the judgment of humankind. Tiamat, the serpent goddess of the abyssal waters. When time began, the Babylonians believed there were only Tiamat and Abzu. When Tiamat was slain, her body was cleaved in half. One part formed the sky, and the other, the earth. Her dying tears formed the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Beletili, the Sumerian goddess of the womb. The other gods begged her to create mankind so that there would be someone to till the soils and dig canals. She created men by shaping clay mixed with saliva and the blood of the undergod Ar-Ilu, who was slain for this purpose. And then she created women so that they could continue to bear men. Isis, the Egyptian goddess of rebirth, healing, and love. When her husband Osiris was cut to pieces by Set, Isis retrieved the pieces, reassembled him, and nursed him back to health. It was Isis who placed the sun god Ra in the sky and introduced the people to agriculture, law, and medicine. I think this poem is related to the stained glass depictions of the goddesses. This must be Vulcan, the god of fire and the forge. He was Venus's husband. The Roman goddess Venus. Grandfather told me she was the epitome of love and sexual desire. She had many lovers and many sons. Jupiter was her father, Vulcan her husband, and Mars was her lover. Cupid was her son, born a god, while Aeneas was her mortal child. But it was Aeneas who founded the Roman Empire. Jupiter was the king of the gods. The Romans worshipped him as Jupiter Optimus Maximus, which means all good and all-powerful. He was Venus's father. Mars was one of Venus's many lovers. He was the god of war, and the father of Romulus and Remus, who founded Rome. That is why the Romans considered themselves sons of Mars. It's just like when I was a child. Grandpère would hide my birthday present, and I would follow puzzle after puzzle to finally get it. It's almost as though he were training me for this. no. The police. I can't let them catch me now. I need to get inside that maze. That's how Grandfather used to get into the underground grotto, and I am almost certain that's where he would hide something important. I just wish I knew what it was. I cannot believe I am here again. I swore I would never come back after what I saw Grandfather doing down here. It was like a cult ceremony. How can I forgive him for being involved in something like that? No, I do not have time for remorse. I need to follow his dying clues. There is something I have to see or get here. Though I better find some light if I want to see anything at all. That must be the way out. Grandpère. I wish I understood why you did these things. I am so sorry. The nun?
Too late. You find anything? The fleur-de-lis.
What does it mean?
It could mean your grandfather was more important than you know.
Look at the writing.
Haxo. What does it mean?
It's an address. It's where we're heading now.
What now? Who's their decorator? Allied Steel?
Robert, try not to draw too much attention to us. Fache may have put our names all over the Interpol system by now.
Bonsoir. How may I help you?
Excusez-moi, but this key...
Of course. To get to your viewing room, you must go through the left doorway in the atrium. Your key will give you access.
It almost seems too easy.
Are you trying to jinx us? A password? Grandfather didn't leave us a password.
Are you certain?
Well, I stopped opening the mail he would send me after the incident.
I don't think he'd send something that sensitive through the mail. Although, maybe he did give us a password. Look at the symbol on the crate.
It looks like the Greek letter Phi.
The 21st letter of the Greek alphabet.
But Phi is also a Greek numeral representing 500.
We're still missing something. We need a 4-digit number.
Doesn't Phi also represent the golden ratio?
The golden ratio?
It is a mathematical thing, but the most important part is that the Fibonacci sequence conforms to the golden ratio.
You've lost me.
Grandpère used the Fibonacci sequence as the number for a safe where he kept his key. I think he used that there, so I would remember it now.
So you're saying the Fibonacci sequence relates to Phi being the 21st letter of the alphabet and the numeral 500?
Yes. So if 21, 500, and 521 were the first three numbers of a Fibonacci sequence, the next number would be 4 digits, which is exactly what we need for this password.
What is it?
A note from Grandpère. My dearest Sophie, you are reading this and I therefore have passed away. I do hope that we made up.
But if not, do not waste time grieving. You have much work to do, and time will be running out. You were always the light I followed. Now, you
must be strong and fearless. I know you will not let me down. Do not forget what lies beneath the rose must remain your secret. Mon amour, grand-père.
Is that the keystone?
No, this is a cryptex. Grandfather probably made this. It's based off a design from the Vinci Secret Codex.
How do you open it?
Well, this one has 5 dials and each one has 26 possible letters. The possible permutations may as well be infinite, but more importantly, there's a vinegar glass vial at the center. If you try to force it open, that will crack and dissolve the papyrus message inside.
So, you either know the answer, or you don't. You've seen this before, I take it.
Grandfather used to make these for me. I had to solve them to find my birthday presents.
What an ornate box.
It's made of rosewood, my grandfather's favorite. You think Grandfather already left us a clue?
In his note, he mentioned that what lies beneath the rose must remain our secret. Sub rosa. The Romans hung a rose over meetings to indicate the meeting was confidential. Attendees understood that whatever was said under the rose, or sub rosa, had to remain a secret. Now, I noticed a small hole in the center of the rose in the box lid.
The inner lid. It's probably false. If we can find something small enough to push through the hole, we might find a clue to opening the cryptex.
Good evening. I am André Vernet, President of the Bank of Zurich. We don't have much time, so I'll be brief. My front desk guard informs me that he has alerted Interpol of your presence. The French police are arriving as we speak.
Fache is even more determined than I thought.
I don't want any authorities to set foot in my bank, nor do my customers. We have enough controversy here over the rights of my clients as it is. I will guide you out of the bank using these earpieces. You will need this security card and truck key. Avoid the bank security. If you get caught, I cannot help you. I will be going to the bank surveillance center to help you out. However, at any time the authorities may request my attention. During that time, you will be on your own. Stay in this room until I get to the surveillance center. I will tell you when it's clear.
I guess we better get ready to leave.
Not all of the guards know to watch for you yet, but that is about to change. Bonsoir? Do not be seen again, or you will most likely be taken into custody.
Understood.
The police have initiated a lockdown. You need to get out of that elevator before they can open the doors. Use the emergency exit hatch. It is directly above you. I hope we catch those two. What kind of people murder an old man in a museum?
Who cares what they did? We had better get them out of the bank before the policemen ransack the place. That would put us out of business. Permanently.
You must find your way to the system administrator's office. It is the only way out of here now. I must go. The police would like to have a word with me.
I suppose if I tell my wife, I have to pull a double shift.
Honestly, the police are more annoying every time I see them. I sent in one of my lawyers to talk them in circles. That will keep them busy for quite a while. Now, insert your security card into the terminal attached to this computer. Log in with the password 8675530, and your card will upgrade to security level 2. This will allow you to access the entrance at the office stairwell.
Vernet, the password you gave us didn't work.
It would seem the system administrator has been changing the passwords regularly, as he should. To get the new password, you will need to go to the records room and find a file named Security System. The key to the cabinet that contains that file is located in the office manager's room.
Nice. I just need to keep it up.
The server room entrance is on the guard. You must find another way through. There are air vents that go from the safety deposit box area into the server room. Find them.
I wonder if his mother knows.
The guard post at the front contains the controls to open the door for the main security computer. Do not alert the guard to your presence, or there may be consequences.
I'm getting tired.
I knew it would work.
Good job, Sophie.
So, did anything interesting happen yesterday?
You did not hear about my run-in with Christopher Columbus?
Columbus? What do you mean?
This crazy drunken man had walked into a random house and decided to take up residence there since it was currently unoccupied.
Was he on drugs?
Just alcohol, as far as I know, but he got a locksmith to come out and change the locks on all the doors.
That is insane.
Wait, it gets so much better. The owner comes home a week later. They were on vacation, and this crazy man won't let them in.
They call the police, of course.
Of course. So I show up and I tell him, "Sir, this home is not your own. You must vacate the premises at once."
What did he do?
He refused to leave. He told me he had discovered the home empty and that it was rightfully his, that it had been fated to him. He called it manifest destiny.
What a madman. So what did you do?
Well, we broke in and took him to jail. But we found he had stashed away almost $500,000 in small diamonds under the couch.
That is amazing. Stolen, of course.
Of course. But the lawyer, Mr. B. Smith, oh, he spun things around so fast the entire department got sick.
What did he do?
Well, first he gets the breaking and entering charges dropped based on some silly combination of laws. Since the door was unlocked, there was no reasonable expectation of keeping people out, he said. Ha! Then he conjured up some law about squatting on property in the absence of its owners, and because it was technically his home, we had no right to search and find the diamonds that he had hidden there.
How insidious.
And now he roams the streets as a free man, probably looking for another home to invade.
A sad day for the judicial police.
Where now?
Chateau Villette.
The Chateau Villette?
The very one. It's where Sir Lee Teabing lives.
These are friends, Remy. Then, sir, I have other household matters to attend to. Very well. So, Robert, what brings you to the chateau at this most unfortunate hour?
Lee, we've come to talk to you about the priory of Sion.
The keepers? So, this is indeed about the Grail. What is it you want to know?
Well, first I'd like you to explain the true nature of the Grail to Miss Navoo.
Robert, you've brought me a virgin?
What?
Virgin is the term Grail enthusiasts use to describe anyone who has never heard the true Grail story.
I believe the lady here is in need of an education. How fortunate, then, that you've come to me. Only the worthy can find the Grail, Miss Navoo. The path to truth lies through the doors of my home, but they only unlock for the enlightened.
He's a bit eccentric, but we're safe here. I know he can help us figure out the cryptex. Just play along for now.
All right, Sir Teabing. I will find the path.
Welcome to the Arthurian Legend Room. If you would take notice, there are two wonderful paintings depicting the tales of Arthurian knights and at the doors you will find the armors that they wore. The Arthurian knights had their own heraldry, which is displayed on the shields. You, Miss Navoo, must discern which shield goes with each painting by placing the appropriate shield with its armor. If you examine a shield, I should be more than happy to tell you that knight's tale. This is Percival's shield. Sir Percival was one of the first knights to see the Grail. During his journeys he came across the castle of the Fisher King, and in the sky above it saw an image of the Grail. Inside he found that the Fisher King was quite ill and bedridden. But while Percival knelt beside him, a great procession walked down the hall. At the end of the procession, a lady carried a chalice, but Percival failed to inquire about it, and the king was not healed as a result. Percival vowed to find the Grail again someday, and became one of the 3 knights to embark on the final quest for the Holy Grail. My dear Sophie, this is the shield of Mordred. Mordred was King Arthur's son, who was born of Arthur's half-sister Morgana. Arthur and Gawain were away from the kingdom. Mordred seized the throne and took his father's wife, Guinevere, as his own. In the final battle over the kingdom, Mordred fatally wounded Arthur, but was then defeated by Lancelot. One story states Lancelot executed Guinevere, believing she had taken part in the usurpation of the throne willingly, and entombed Mordred with her dead body, which he ate to stay alive until he eventually died of starvation. This is the shield of Lancelot. Sir Lancelot was raised by Vivian, the Lady of the Lake. He was the epitome of chivalry and was always courteous, courageous, and kind. He became the first knight of the Round Table, but soon fell in love with Queen Guinevere. He slept with Guinevere behind Arthur's back, and when he did so, a broken shield that Vivian had given him became whole again. This is Galahad's shield. Sir Galahad was the son of Lancelot and became a knight of the Round Table. He saw a vision of angels guiding him to the Holy Grail. Thus he was selected as one of the 3 knights who would go on a quest for it. When they found the final location of the Grail, Galahad was one of the few allowed to see it. Ah, this is the shield of King Arthur Pendragon. He became king when he pulled the sword Excalibur from a stone. Uther Pendragon, Arthur's father, was the previous owner of Excalibur. Before Uther died, he implanted the sword, which he got from the Lady of the Lake, into a stone, and said that whoever could remove it would be king. Of course, only his own magical bloodline could do so, and thus Arthur ruled over Britannia for many years. This is the shield of Sir Gawain. He was the most chivalrous of the knights and was bound by his honor to do what was right. He was the only knight brave enough to accept the challenge of the mighty Green Knight. Lancelot mistakenly slew Sir Gareth during a rescue of Guinevere, thus causing a bitter rivalry to form between Lancelot and Gawain, who was Gareth's brother. Excellent, Miss Navoo. I trust the Arthurian legends are entertaining?
Yes, I quite enjoyed your tales.
Knights questing for the Holy Grail does make for an entertaining story. But I assure you that it is no mere cup.
I know, sometimes it's a ball.
No, my dear. You see, as a Grail historian, I'm often asked, where is the Grail? It is rare that people ask me, what is the Grail? Because everyone assumes that it is just an object. It is much more than that. Now that you know the question, why don't we see what answers we can find here?
I thought you said the Grail was not a cup.
It isn't, but as time progressed, the Holy Grail became Arthur's Grail. The legends were intertwined, and it was simply because poets and storytellers continually wrote about it and changed a few things here or there.
So that's why the Grail became a cup?
Not exactly. I'll explain more later. The Grail operas of Wagner also speak of the Grail as a vessel in which the blood of Christ was gathered when he was killed on the cross.
But that is not true, is it?
That entirely depends on your interpretation. Grail can mean many things.
Are you familiar with the symbols for male and female?
Of course.
These are not the original symbols. These symbols originated as ancient astronomical symbols for the planet god Mars and the planet goddess Venus. The originals are far simpler. This is the symbol for male, the blade.
Quite to the point.
And this is the symbol for female, the chalice. Legend tells us the Holy Grail is a chalice, a cup. But the Grail's description as a chalice is actually an allegory to protect the true nature of the Holy Grail.
You mean the Grail is a woman?
Exactly. A woman who carried with her a secret so powerful that, if revealed, it threatened to devastate the very foundation of Christianity.
Who is she?
As I mentioned before, Da Vinci painted the true Grail. Come to the dining room when you're ready, and I will show you Da Vinci's painting.
You told me you had a Da Vinci painting that would show us the true Grail?
Indeed I do. I assume you recognize this?
The Last Supper?
Yes. Da Vinci painted many secrets within it. Perhaps you can use what we discussed earlier to find a few of them yourself.
I will try. There is a V shape right in the center between Jesus and John. Robert told me earlier that the V is an ancient symbol for the chalice.
This is quite true, but why would Da Vinci paint a feminine symbol into the Last Supper?
I don't know. It's a painting of 13 men.
Is it? Take a closer look.
Is that an actual image of the Grail?
It's hard to say. It's almost an optical illusion, is it not?
Did Da Vinci mean to say that there was a Grail cup?
Not at all. Since it's an illusory image, I would think he was saying quite the opposite. That the idea of the Grail as a cup is the fake story, and that the real story can be found elsewhere in the painting. It all goes back to the Sangreal.
I have never heard of it.
Sure you have. You're just used to hearing it called the Holy Grail. Holy Grail is the literal meaning of Sangreal. The phrase derives from the French Sangral, which evolved to Sangreal and was eventually split into two words, San Grial.
Oh, does the word have anything to do with the French word sang, or Spanish sangre meaning blood?
Oh yes, the Grail has much to do with blood, but not in the way you might think. Let's look over the painting some more.
That is a woman!
Surprise, surprise! It's no mistake either. Leonardo was skilled at painting the differences between the sexes, but our preconceived notions of the scene are so powerful that our mind blocks out the incongruity and overrides our eyes.
Who is she?
There are other clues within the painting that may reveal her name. Look again.
That looks like an M between Jesus and that woman.
A bit too perfect for coincidence, wouldn't you say?
Why is it there?
Countless Grail-related works contain the hidden letter M, whether as watermarks, underpaintings, or compositional illusions. Conspiracists will tell you it stands for matrimonia.
You mean marriage? Jesus was married to this woman?
Their marriage is part of the historical record. These are photocopies of the Nag Hammadi and Dead Sea Scrolls, the earliest Christian records. Troublingly, they do not match up with the Gospels in the Bible. The Gospel of Philip is always a good place to start. And the companion of the Savior is Mary Magdalene. Christ loved her more than all the disciples and used to kiss her often on her mouth. The rest of the disciples were offended by it and expressed disapproval. They said to him, "Why do you love her more than all of us?"
Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene, the prostitute?
Oh, Magdalene was no such thing. That unfortunate misconception is the legacy of a smear campaign launched by the early church to cover up her role as the Holy Grail. The early church needed to convince the world that the mortal prophet Jesus was a divine being. Therefore, any gospels that described earthly aspects of Jesus' life had to be omitted from the Bible.
Like his marriage.
I think we've got what we need to solve the cryptex, Sophie.
There's more to find in Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, if you are interested, of course.
Peter looks like he is threatening Mary.
Peter was definitely one of Mary's detractors. After Jesus died and was reborn, there were many debates over who should continue his church. But Mary can tell you that in her own words. Here, read this passage from her gospel.
And Peter said, "Did the Savior really speak with a woman without our knowledge? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us?" And Levi answered, "Peter, you have always been hot-tempered. Now I see you contending against the woman like an adversary. If the Savior made her worthy, who are you indeed to reject her? Surely the Savior knows her very well. That is why he loved her more than us. So Peter disliked her because Jesus favored Mary over him?"
Not only that, the stakes were far greater than mere affection. At this point in the Gospels, Jesus suspects he will soon be captured and crucified, so he gives Mary Magdalene instructions on how to carry on his church after he is gone. As a result, Peter expresses his discontent over playing second fiddle to a woman. I dare say Peter was something of a sexist.
This is St. Peter, the rock upon which Jesus built his church.
The same, except for one catch. According to these unaltered Gospels, it was not Peter to whom Christ gave directions with which to establish the Christian church. It was Mary Magdalene.
You are saying the Christian church was to be carried on by a woman?
That was the plan. Jesus was the original feminist. He intended for the future of his church to be in the hands of his wife.
Earlier you mentioned that the Grail documents told the true story of Christ.
Ah, you remembered. Yes, but as we discussed before, Grail derives from San Grail, or Holy Grail. But in its most ancient form, the word Grail was divided in a different spot.
Song Real.
Which translates to royal blood.
Precisely.
But whose blood? Christ's?
I believe there's at least one more clue to be had in the Last Supper.
Mary seems to have nearly as much attention from the apostles as Jesus.
I should hope so. She was a very important woman. Few people realize that Mary Magdalene, in addition to being Christ's right hand, was a powerful woman already.
I was under the impression that Magdalene was poor.
Just as many people think Jesus was poor. Yet he was of the house of David, a descendant of King Solomon, king of the Jews. Mary was of the house of Benjamin, also of royal descent. Magdalene was recast as a whore to erase her powerful bloodlines.
But why should the early church care if Magdalene had royal blood?
My dear child, it was not Mary Magdalene's royal blood that concerned the church so much as it was her consorting with Christ. By marrying into the powerful house of Benjamin, Jesus fused two royal bloodlines, creating a potent political union with the potential of making a legitimate claim to the throne and restoring the line of kings as it was under Solomon. The legend of the Holy Grail is a legend about royal blood. When Grail legend speaks of the chalice that held the blood of Christ, it speaks in fact of Mary Magdalene, the female womb that carried Jesus' royal bloodline.
But how could Christ have a bloodline unless...
Unless they had a child.
Behold the greatest cover-up in human history. Not only was Jesus Christ married, but he was a father. My dear, Mary Magdalene was the holy vessel. She was the chalice that bore the royal bloodline of Jesus Christ. She was the womb that bore the lineage, and the vine from which the sacred fruit sprang forth.
Then there must be some way to trace the family line.
Precisely what the priory of Sion has been keeping secret for hundreds of years. Sophie, your grandfather may have been the last man to know the secret lineage of Jesus Christ's bloodline.
Is that why he was killed?
We may never know exactly why someone would murder your grandfather in cold blood.
Did you hear?
Give the cryptex to me.
Quickly, to the basement.
The basement?
It has a safe room.
Robert, do you know who that was?
I can't be certain, but I believe he's the one who killed Sister Sandrine.
Obviously, he's interested in you now, and he specifically wants the cryptex. This won't do at all.
Is there a way out of here that doesn't go through him?
Well, if he's found you here, he obviously is resourceful. Someone will have to go up there and knock him out.
I'll do it.
Don't be ridiculous. You are in no condition to fight that monster.
I doubt very much you could knock him unconscious, Miss Navoo. But I'm afraid she's right, Robert. Perhaps if we had some sort of weapon. Ah, yes.
What? Do you have a gun?
I'm a good shot with a pistol.
No, nothing quite so barbaric. Take a look at this.
Da Vinci's drawing of a ballista? You don't have one, do you?
I'm afraid I don't have all of one. But I do have the frame right here.
What good is that if it does not work?
Well, it occurred to me that we might be able to make it work with some of the artifacts I have upstairs. Remy is something of an engineer in his spare time. Very true.
What do you have upstairs that would make it work?
Why, the other pieces of the ballista. There are unique properties to each piece, and I was studying them in different rooms of the house. They are, most unfortunately, scattered about and quite heavy.
Then I will get them for us.
That's very brave, Sophie, but I really think I should go with you.
If you insist, Robert. But let me handle moving the large pieces. A good gust of wind could bowl you over right now.
If you insist, my lady.
Miss Navoo, do be careful. I doubt very much that Robert will be more than a distraction for this giant of a man, but Robert does have the cryptex, and that's the only thing this lunatic seems to want. If Robert should get into trouble, use a mace or a fire poker, whatever you can find to stop that monster from killing Mr. Langdon. We still need him if we want to find out where the cryptex leads.
Don't worry, I won't leave Robert to die. We'll get through this, Sir TB. Sir D. Together, or not at all?
Sophie, let's go. I don't see him out there.
The keystone belongs to Manus Day. Give it to me now!
No! I could use a little help here!
Fool! The pain only cleanses my soul of what you force me to do.
I am warning you, I am an agent of the Judicial Police and—
Die!
That's enough of that talk. It would seem God's hand is fallible.
It's going to take a lot more than that to stop him. Let's get this ballista piece to the elevator.
You just don't give up, do you?
You will not displace our faith. God's hands are upon you, heathens.
Like you displaced Sister Sandrine?
Is life not sacred to your religion?
She was working against God. She scorned the work of Manus Day, as did the Seneschal and that lying worm they call their Grandmaster.
No!
You! Sophie, I'm sorry.
Let's get this ballista piece to the elevator. That monster's rage is endless.
Oh!
You murderer!
It is not murder when it is God's will. God does not suffer lies, and with their dying breaths that is all that the seneschal could speak. God will suffer your lies no more.
Murder is the greatest sin, no matter what the reason!
The teacher is wise. He knows what evils are necessary for good to be achieved.
Teacher? Sophie, get back! What was that about a teacher?
Someone told this man to kill my grandfather. We must find out who.
That bookcase isn't going to stop him. Let's get the last piece of the ballista into the elevator.
Da Vinci would be proud of us.
Where to?
London, of course. My dear boy, are you and the classics such strangers to each other? Heraclius? The Round? Oh, come on. Of course. The Temple Church.
But how do we get...
My dear lady, I have a plane fueled and waiting.
What about him?
Bring him with us. He's the best lead we have.
After landing, please taxi to the control tower and stop. Repeat, land and stop by the control tower. British police have requested a full search of the aircraft. Understood, Beacon Hill. On final approach now.
Come on!
Can you wait for us by the main gates?
Of course, old boy. Noblesse oblige. Is there a problem, officer?
Robert, we need to stop the police from coming through this door.
There's got to be something we can block it with. This should stop the police from getting through, for now.
Robert Langdon, Sophie Navoo, give yourselves up now. You're out last, Civvy.
You take the men and cover the exit. Set up now for delivering checkpoints on the road.
Jacobs, you take some men and cover the airfield exit. Silver, set up an outer perimeter and checkpoints on the roads in a mile radius. Harday, get a couple of K9 units into the tunnels. We need these two cornered, cuffed, and on a plane within the hour, or the Commissioner will have our hides. You heard the Chief Inspector? Get a move on you, gits!
That doesn't sound promising.
Where are we going, Robert?
We need to get to Teabing's limo outside the airfield.
You don't really know where we are, do you?
Well, other than being an airfield, no. But if we keep moving forward, we'll find a way out.
Heraclius did consecrate this place, where knights of old lay down to show their faith.
It looks like we'll have to look around the temple church to find the next cryptex word.
We need to get out of here first.
Look, there's Teabing's limo.
We need a distraction if we're going to get by all those police.
Look at that fuel tank. That would make a huge explosion.
Man.
It's a distraction.
Fine, but first we need to start the main generator or we won't be able to open those doors.
Right, the fuse box.
Hello. What have we here? Phew. A lot of aggro for bugger all, eh? Yeah, bit drafty here, isn't it? Wasting time, this is.
Now I just need to hit that fuel puddle from the gas tanker with this flare. But I better throw it from the roof. Let's go!
Now, Remy, Temple Church. Don't spare the horses. I strongly suggest we sort out the matter of the cryptex before proceeding.
That would seem reasonable, but...
I don't think we can get any further without solving it.
Yes, I have to concur. Sophie, my dear, why do you hesitate?
Outdoors, the graceful waters you.
Obviously, it's trying to point us toward the fountain in the church garden, but the mention of knights of old...
Perhaps it's talking about the Knights Templar.
Right. You and I should have a look round the inside. We'll leave the outside to Sophie.
Does Sophie get a say in this?
Would you prefer the other way round, then?
No, mon Dieu. I'll search the outside. Be careful, though, both of you.
Remember, do not harm them. But the cripple, the professor, and the woman all need to be rounded up as fast as humanly possible.
Don't you worry, chum. We'll have them wrapped up tight in no time.
Fine. You two come with me. You two, secure the perimeter. Report anything suspicious.
No problem.
Got it.
Never worked right. Say again. Say again.
No, they're here.
This should be useful.
Judge this!
In honor of Jacques Chaumière. Without his contributions, the underground renovations on the courtyard's infamous Pillar Knights could not have been completed. An inscription. What does it say? A metal shard with strange symbols on it. What could this be for? The Knights Monument in the courtyard. Something is there. I need to investigate.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark. No rest for the wicked. I've got to get out of here. Sophie.
Just checking in. Trying to be professional like. Hey, mate. What are you up to in there? I wouldn't get any funny ideas if I was you. I've got a really nice pair of guys screaming to be put to use. Do you know what I mean? That's right. You just stay quiet like a good little quiet boy. Oh, you bore me. Let's see if there's anything good on the telly.
There we go.
Look! The door! Do you see that? That bloody door wasn't open before.
Look, just simmer down, will you? There's a rational explanation for all this.
Rational, my bleeding ass! You have a look!
Ah, someone opened that door. The mercenary doesn't seem too happy about it. It must be Robert.
Just checking in. Trying to be professional, like.
Oh, this is not bloody good, I warned you I did.
Shut it. This is position 1 calling. We've got a situation here. Over.
Affirmative, what is your situation?
Bastard got out of his prison cell.
Are you serious?
What? You think I'm clowning about, making up random stuff while I'm on a paying job?
Right. Attention, everyone. Clowny McButterfingers has let Robert Langdon out of his cage. Be on the lookout for a stuffy-looking English professor with a big sloppy grin on his face, cause he's just outsmarted us.
Robert, thank God.
It's all right, Sophie. I'm fine. Teabing, though.
What has happened to him?
Remy has taken him hostage. They're going to use him to bargain for the cryptex. If we can solve it before they do, then we'll have more to bargain with. Have you found anything?
Yes, I found something. An inscription on the fountain and another key.
First things first. Give me a hand. Together we can open these heavy doors.
Hey, come here, we need to stick together if we're going to find them down here.
It is rather dark.
Well, why aren't the lights working down here?
Try the light switch, you idiots.
Light switch? What are you... We're in a sewer, you twit. The only thing even remotely easy to use are the controls for those gates.
More trouble. There's a veritable army down there.
Tweedledee and Tweedledummer, let's be as quiet as possible. We don't want them on to us.
Grid clear. We're good.
Sewers. I friggin' hate sewers.
Why are we even down here? If you were running away from a church filled with bloodthirsty mercenaries, present company included, would you run into the sewer beneath said church?
Yeah, well, if I were a rat, I might.
Well, for the purposes of this conversation, assume you're a human being.
No, I most definitely would not walk into a smelly, dank, disgusting sewer if I were trying to get away from a bunch of bloodthirsty buggers like us. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless there was something really important down in the sewers.
Like what? Your most favourite turd clump?
Well, I don't know, maybe a wedding ring or something.
Those two did not strike me as the married type. They were so stiff you could shove popsicle sticks up their rears and use them as marionettes.
Lovely image. Thank you for that mental mind warping, you insidious bastard.
I'm just saying, innit? They don't strike me as the married type.
Look, maybe we should just do our jobs and watch these tunnels like the boss said.
Fair enough.
Huh. Another clue. The Templar were amazing architects. Let's see.
A plaque. There's an inscription. For the Knights Templar, unfairly burned for claims of devil worship later proven false. May their shattered shield and reputation one day be reforged.
Over here.
It looks like something is missing.
Fascinating. I think we need to search around some more.
Well done.
The structure of the pillar goes all the way up out of the sewer into the courtyard. It must be part of the Templar pillar.
That would make sense. The dedication on the fountain did mention it.
Yeah. I knew a degree in symbology would come in handy someday.
Do not make me hurt you. Let's go.
We've got the metal shards. Let's get back to the shield.
Why, what are you thinking, Robert?
I've got an idea.
Robert.
The shield, Sophie. We can use them on the shield.
Checking in. Over.
Now, Langdon!
It's no racing bit.
Must be awfully rosy in your world, eh?
Well, here's one piece of the puzzle.
It's some sort of cipher. We just need something to decipher.
I've seen these symbols before.
Well,
I do study symbols for a living, Sophie. Now, let's see.
Clues to solving the grid?
Of course. Question is, how?
What does the cryptex scroll say?
In London lies a knight, a pope interred. His labor's fruit a holy wrath incurred.
Dead people in London. That could be anywhere.
I think we've all had quite enough of this running about. I'm too old.
Give me the cryptex, and you might just walk from this.
Really? Like the curator?
You have no place to run, Dr. Langdon. You're a wanted man. Make it easy for yourself. And our beautiful Mademoiselle Navoo.
I'm touched by your concern, Remy. But I think we will have to decline.
I am afraid no matter what you might believe, this belongs to me.
Ah! Silas, get them!
Sophie, run!
Hurry up! You're not going to make it!
Oh no.
You see? God is on my side. And now your fate is sealed. Pathetic attempts to escape all the anger, God. The righteous are upon you. Hold fast and accept your doom. There is no escape from the hand of God. Cease your pointless struggle and beg for forgiveness for your tragedy.
I hope Sophie's safe.
Doom has come upon you. There is nowhere to run. Fools! Only the blessed can know the path of God. Your time is at an end.
You better get faster at this or I'm not gonna make it.
There can be no mercy for the wicked, the liars, the sinners. Yours is the path of destruction. What are you to God? A pathetic lying worm, squirming in the mud and filth, trying to run from your fate. Our little game is at an end. Fall to your knees, beg for the forgiveness of God, and I might let you live. What a pathetic attempt. Did you really think you could stop the hand of...
Yes. Who's pathetic now? Filthy murderer.
All mercenaries report to Westminster Abbey. Remy's orders.
They must be holding T-Bing at Westminster.
Let's go.
This way. We don't have much time.
Will they kill him?
You can bet on it. Just as soon as he solves the clue.
There's Remy.
And there he goes. Should we follow him?
I don't think so. He has the advantage now. What we need is some leverage.
He may have the cryptex, but I don't think he can solve it without us.
The question is, will Teabing be able to solve it without us?
If he does, they will kill him.
We'll have to solve it first. If we have the answer, we can trade it for Teabing and hopefully get all of us out of here alive.
Let's go over the scroll once more. In London lies a knight, a pope interred. His labor's fruit, a holy wrath incurred.
As I recall, Sir Isaac Newton's burial was attended by kings and nobles, presided over by Alexander Pope, his friend and colleague, who gave a stirring eulogy before sprinkling dirt on the tomb.
Alexander Pope?
A pope. It's perfect. Newton is our knight. This is it. The tomb of Sir Isaac Newton. What does the next part of the cryptic scroll say?
Look at the controversy he has stirred. This child's son is key to find the word.
Interesting. That's a celestial orb resting in a pyramid at the top. It has the signs of the zodiac on it.
Who is that on top of the orb?
That's a figure representing the science of astronomy. There's a scroll inside.
What does it say?
It looks like a series of 5 separate poems, possibly riddles.
Grandpère would have put them in the order we needed to read them.
Well, assuming Seigneur did write them, it doesn't hurt to start at the top. Amazing. You know, it was Chaucer that essentially made English the standard language among the upper class in London? Before his poems, they mostly spoke French and Latin.
Grandpère loved all poetry, as you can tell by the poems that lead us to here.
Right. Let's look at that poem again.
Clockwise around the shield stops the name of he who can absolve your sin and shame.
It's Latin. The translation seems to be a poetic eulogy. There's also a story about a pardoner in the Canterbury Tales. A pardoner is someone who would absolve people of sin for a fee.
So only the rich went to heaven?
Sometimes they ended up very poor. Unfortunately, it was usually the poor who would pay. In the story, the pardoner's prologue goes into detail about the pardoning business. We got it.
What's this?
It looks like a ring, but it's too large to fit on a normal person's finger.
Is it mentioned in the next poem?
Let's see. Though many tried his words to find the rose, in Iam's writ, this man of loves and woes, a word you'll find that lies within the prose, which here denoted grants a ring repose. The monument to Shakespeare is missing.
The sign says that it has been moved to the renovation room for restoration.
It looks like a quote from The Tempest.
What does it say?
The cloud-cupped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit shall dissolue, and like the baseless fabric of a vision, leave not a wreck behind.
Huh. There's something strange about it.
There's an odd clean spot around the finger. Nice job, Professor. It fits perfectly.
Look, it opened something up.
What's inside?
What's this for?
Let's look at the next poem.
The first child king of England made this place, where now he rests inside confessor's grace. The bard's denoted words will help you find a way to help release a king of kind.
There's some writing here. It says William.
As in Shakespeare?
As in the creator of this tomb. Or maybe both, knowing Sonier. Let's look at the poem again.
The bard's denoted word will help you find a way to help release a king of kind. So far, every previous tomb has given us something for the next one.
Good point. Oh, what's this?
It looks like a small tile piece with a crown on it.
It could be a king's crown, which would match what the poem told us.
What does the next poem say?
The cousin of the Queen Elizabeth, in Somerset the Baron lost his breath. His mother with a soldier ran away, but not before the night had made her day.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, but in keeping with the previous poems, only one of them is a central figure. What is this?
I don't know. It reminds me a little of the shield on Chaucer's tomb.
Let's read the last poem.
Think back on all you have now observed, and find the knight with whom you first conferred. He seeks the orb that ought to be on his tomb, but only if the seed lies in its womb.
Oh, you're a slippery bugger, aren't you? Oh!
So strange a message, though.
Reading it out loud sometimes helps.
This final puzzle will reveal the word that frees you from the losses you incurred. Your family reunion is at hand. See through the picture and you'll understand.
Family reunion?
Robert, everyone in my family is dead but me.
That'd be a very disturbing reunion. But I think your grandfather may have had something else in mind. Look, these tiles were meant to go on top of the completed scroll.
Ah, you're right. Let us see what picture the tiles form.
It is a church.
Robert, look. There are holes in the tiles.
You can see letters through them. P-A-Y...
E-N-S.
Payens is the final password for the cryptex. And Huda Payens founded the Knights Templar, which means that this must be a Templar church in the picture.
Now what do we do?
We can use this to get Teabing back.
But Robert, anyone vile enough to threaten someone's life like this does not deserve to know the secret of the Grail.
I don't think we have much of a choice at this point. Teabing is my friend. Our friend. If anything should happen to him...
That is quite enough. I am afraid you two are very overdue.
Remy.
Overdue for what?
Ah, I believe I am the one with the power here. My gun will point you in the proper direction to move your feet. Go! You, wait here. And if you value life, be it yours or hers, I suggest you not move. I hope you did not think I did this all by myself.
What? What do you mean?
Remy, I am afraid your services are no longer needed. Teacher! Please believe I never had any intention of your being involved. You came to my home. You came searching for me.
Lee, what the hell are you doing? We thought you were in trouble. We came here to help you.
As I trusted you would. We have much to discuss.
Let Sophie leave. You and I can discuss this alone.
I have given you the cryptex as a show of good faith. And I'm afraid that is all that I can afford to give you.
You couldn't solve it.
I am afraid not, Robert. I need your help.
Maybe I can distract Teabing long enough for Robert to think of something. Teabing is the type of person who hates having his own words used against him. I thought you told us that only the wealthy can find the Grail.
Let's see if we can solve the cryptex.
What? How dare you say such a thing? I will have you know that the Grail is my life's work. My life's work! If it weren't for your grandfather being too cowardly to release the truth to the world, we wouldn't be in this position now. But here we are, and Robert, you must make your decision.
What can you possibly hope to gain through this?
Why, Langdon, the one thing that I have always wanted the most. to release the Sangreal documents to the public as they were always intended to be by the priory.
If the priory wanted to release the documents, Saunier would have done so.
Ah, but I discovered a terrible truth. The reason the documents were not released at the beginning of the new millennium. At the ultimate moment of truth, Jacques Saunier changed his mind.
So you blame Saunier because the Sangreal documents were never released?
Wait. If Tibing is behind everything, then Grandpère's death. Tibing planning all of this out. He is the one responsible for Grandpère. You are the one responsible for my grandfather's murder.
This seems to be working.
Your grandfather failed the priory, the Grail, and the memory of all the generations that had worked to make that moment possible. The man honored with the greatest responsibility in Christian history eschewed his duty. His seneschal were traitors to the Grail. But he was also under the thumb of the church, and that ultimately is why I had to put his mind at rest and complete his duties for him.
What could the church possibly have over Saunier?
The church has 2,000 years of experience pressuring those who threaten to unveil its lies. Since the days of Constantine, the church has successfully hidden the truth about Mary Magdalene and Jesus. We should not be surprised that now, once again, they have found a way to keep the world in the dark. The church may no longer employ crusaders to slaughter non-believers, but their influence is no less persuasive, no less insidious.
Employing crusaders, persuasive influence, insidious. He's not just describing the church. Is he a complete hypocrite? He has done everything that he says he hates the church for. You are no better than the church.
It worked. Now for the next part.
What are you talking about?
You manipulated Silas and Remy into working for you. You sent them to murder people who did not believe as you did.
But everything I did was to expose the truth.
What does it matter if you become exactly like the very thing you despise?
Oh, no, my dear. You have no idea of what you speak. Perhaps I can illustrate my point with something you've been wondering about since you were old enough to think. Miss Navoo, for some time now, your grandfather has wanted to tell you the truth about your family.
How could you know that?
My methods are immaterial. The important thing for you to grasp right now is this. The deaths of your mother, father, grandmother, and brother were not accidental.
What are you saying?
Robert, it explains everything. All the pieces fit. History repeats itself. The church has a precedent of murder when it comes to silencing the Sangreal. With the end of days imminent, killing the Grandmaster's loved ones sent a very clear message. Be quiet, for you and Sophie are next.
These are just theories, but there is one murderer to be blamed. Even if the church did murder my parents, he is no better. And now you have taken over where the church has left off.
What do you mean?
You have no proof about what happened to my parents, but now we do know one truth. It was you who murdered my grandfather.
It was his own fault. He and his seneschal lied to Silas. Otherwise, I would have obtained the keystone without complication. How was I to imagine the Grandmaster would go to such ends to deceive me and bequeath the keystone to an estranged granddaughter? Someone so unqualified to hold this knowledge that she required a symbologist babysitter.
So it was you the entire time?
One way or another, the keystone was coming to Chateau Villette. Silas was supposed to steal it from you there, thus removing you from the equation without hurting you, and exonerating me from any suspicion of complicity. However, when I saw the intricacy of Saunier's codes, I decided to include you both in my quest a bit longer. I could have Silas steal the keystone later, once I knew enough to carry on alone.
The Temple Church.
But you still need a scapegoat. Someone to blame for the murders that lead to the miraculous recovery of the Sangreal documents.
I am afraid that Silas served his purpose all too well. As we speak, he is no doubt under the arrest of the police, and he is a well-known member of Manus Dei. Listen. Can you hear it? The Grail is speaking to us across the centuries. She's begging to be saved from the Priory's folly. I implore you both to recognize this opportunity. We need to swear an oath together. A pledge of faith to one another. A knight's allegiance to uncover the truth and make it known.
I will never swear an oath with my grandfather's murderer, except an oath that I will see you go to prison.
I am sorry you feel that way, mademoiselle. And you, Robert, are you with me or against me?
I know how to find the answer. Let Sophie go, and we'll figure it out together at Newton's tomb.
I am not going anywhere. That cryptex was given to me by my grandfather. It is not yours to open.
Sophie, please. You're in danger. I'm trying to help you.
Robert, my grandfather would prefer his secret lost forever than see it in the hands of his murderer. Shoot me if you have to. I am not leaving my grandfather's legacy in your hands.
Very well.
No, Lee, if you even think about it, I will drop this.
That bluff won't work on me. I know you better than that.
Do you, Lee?
I am a lone knight, surrounded by unworthy souls. Very well, a show of faith. Set the cryptex down, and we'll talk.
They'll shoot us both as soon as I do. I have to protect Sophie, and the Grail.
Arrest him! The old one! The Grail! Don't you understand? The Holy Grail! It's lost! Lost forever!
It was nearly over, but there was one final scroll, one last rhyme to lead us to the ultimate answer. The Holy Grail beneath ancient Roslin waits. Adorned in Master's loving art she lies. She rests at last beneath the starry skies.
Ah, the artistry, the stained glass. Oh, it is achingly beautiful. The Holy Grail beneath ancient Roslin waits. Well, we're here. What's next?
The next line says the blade and chalice guarding over her gates. So I guess we look for the symbols of the blade and chalice. St. Clair is one of the oldest families in France. This traces their lineage back to a line of Merovingian kings.
She was here.
A sarcophagus?
Mary Magdalene.
The Holy Grail.
Where did she go? Did the church finally get her?
What was it about, Sophie? When you and your grandfather fought? Was it something about your past? Was it something about how your parents died?
How could you know that?
This article says the entire family was killed. Father, mother, and both children? A boy and a girl.
Only their name is in Navoo. It's St. Clair. This makes no sense.
Only two direct lines of Merovingians remain. The Plantard family traces back to the descendants of the Merovingian kings. Sophie, I was wrong. Saunier didn't want you to guard the secret of the Holy Grail. Sophie, you are the secret.
No.
You survived the car accident. If it even was an accident. The priory found out. They must have concealed the fact that you weren't dead.
Ce n'est pas possible.
You are the heir. The end of the royal bloodline. The living descendant of Jesus Christ.
No.
It all makes sense. Your grandfather wasn't playing games with you as a child. He was training you, teaching you, so that you could take over and continue to guard the secret of the royal bloodline. Your own secret. Your blood. He couldn't just tell you who you were. You would never believe him. Even now, after all that you've seen and learned, you still doubt it.
Sophie, it is true. I gave you up once, knowing that I might never see you again. And I have prayed for this moment for a very long time.
I am your grandmother, Sophie. Both of your parents were descended from Merovingian families. For protection, they changed their names of Plantard and St. Clair.
Protection? From what?
There are many who would kill to protect their belief in Christ's divinity, to learn that he not only had children, but that there are people still alive who carry his blood. It would be too much for some to comprehend.
I've seen a lot of religious zealotry in the past day or two, but no one seemed to have much interest in tracking down and killing the descendants of Christ.
Nevertheless, there are those who would murder to maintain their belief that the Bible is perfect and that Jesus had no children or even a wife. Sophie, I know that you have always wondered what happened to your parents. Your parents were killed in a car accident whose cause could not be determined. The priory feared the identity of the royal line had been discovered. Your grandfather and I had to make a grave decision the instant we received the phone call. Your grandfather took you to France, and I moved here to watch over Roslin with your baby brother. Separating the family was the hardest thing we ever had to do. But we did it, knowing that it was the only way to keep you safe. Welcome home, Princess. My husband obviously trusted you, Mr. Langdon, and so shall I. Considering what you've done for me tonight, and as curator of the Roslin Trust, I can tell you for certain that the Grail is no longer here.
But the words say the Holy Grail beneath ancient Roslin waits.
One of the Priory's most ancient charges was one day to return the Grail to her homeland of France, where she could rest for eternity. When my husband became Grandmaster, his first duty was to restore her honor by returning her to France and building her a resting place fit for a queen.
But the poem says... Why does it point to Roslin?
Perhaps you've misread its meaning. The Grail can be deceptive, as could my late husband.
Sophie, I should go. You should spend some time with your family.
Thank you.
For what?
For bringing me here. For letting him choose you. Sir Robert.
I'll always be there for you if you need me, Sophie.
I know.
It had been the most extraordinary 2 days of my life. And now I was back in Paris as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. And suddenly, I understood Samir's message at last. The Holy Grail beneath ancient Roslin waits. Adorned in Master's loving art she lies. She rests at last beneath the starry skies.
I hope you guys enjoyed your video. As always, don't forget to comment, like, rate, and subscribe. Please leave a like. It will really help the channel out. And don't forget to check out other content on my channel. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Thank you and have an awesome day, guys.